While Tsonga is having his meal before the session, he gets startled, as you can see,
Oh, Gigi.
but he self-regulates very well.
Yeah. Good job.
I start off the session by brushing him, which is already a step further than touching him with my hands. I have the nose target with me in case I need to redirect him into position, but he is standing there so well I will throw it away in a second. He is doing so well with the brushing even though we haven't practiced it in this context before. I used to have someone feed him while I do this, and it worked okay, but he wasn't completely happy with it. And here he's just standing free and allowing me to brush him without any problems. The start button makes it much easier for me to be independent, because usually I would need another person for things like this. Also, the clicker that I'm wearing around my wrist is going to be of importance later, but I didn't actually use it because I don't click for the start button anymore.
Good job.
If you want to know more about why I don't click for these sessions, I explain it in the first trauma work video. Following the brushing, I start off with quite a lot of duration of touch, which is very unusual. It shows me that these sessions are indeed very beneficial for him and have already helped his trauma. Before this session, he also came running as the only one from the herd, so I am pretty sure that he almost enjoys these sessions and that he is ready to work on his trauma in this kind of context where he has control over the steps. He's doing so well with the touch here that I decided it might be worth trying to move a step further. First, I touch his withers to let him know that I'm here, and then I sit on. While actively engaging in this session, I did not see his tail swish, but I did obviously notice that he took his head out of the bucket immediately to see what was going on. I wouldn't say that it was the wrong decision to sit on here, because I could not have known beforehand that he would react like this. Watching this video after the session, I definitely take into account that he was tail swishing and rocking back here, but at the same time it was not a fear response of his nervous system, more like an alert response. I was thinking about his nervous system's reaction a lot while watching this video after the session. I came to the conclusion to give him more time before attempting this again and to prepare him for it better by just sliding my leg over before sitting on, and that I would slide on much more softly. One part of his trauma with touch is that he was being punished for showing discomfort, so the hand towards his body is a threat. But his nervous system has also become overly sensitive to light touch. So anything light flapping against him or brushing him makes his skin twitch, as to get rid of it like of a fly. With this knowledge in mind, and seeing the body band flapping in the wind, you can imagine that we were set up for disaster. And I had this knowledge, of course, because I know him for a while, but I was still oblivious to the potential threat to his nervous system. I wanted to put the tape on his back for the exact reason of giving his nervous system input without threatening it, and putting the first strap on worked actually quite well. I hadn't finished putting the first strap on when he took his head out of the bucket, but he also didn't show any signs of worry, so I am okay that I continued nonetheless. For the second strap, however, he already shows discomfort when it just flaps against him, when I hadn't even started to put it on. Which is why I stopped to give him some more time to downregulate, and then I touch his withers and stroke his back to give him the safety input, meaning a reassuring and firm touch that he already knows. If you want to go back a bit in the video, you can see that he is initially twitching when I touch his withers, but when I continue the firm touch, his nervous system remembers that this is not a threat. I am waiting for him to finish this round of treats so that I can give him a big handful, but he's very busy. That in return led me to believe that he was very much okay with this and that I should continue. The firm touch on his withers while I'm waiting for him is no problem to his nervous system at all. But then the strap is flapping against him and his nervous system reacts, quite a bit even with the head shaking and the ear flopping. I recognize the strap as well as the clicker around my wrist as a trigger, so I try to remove them as best as I can. But even removing the initial triggers was not enough in this situation because his nervous system was already on guard. Even though I applied the second tape with firm touch, due to the trigger stacking before, he was not happy with this. It is completely and fully understandable that he feels the need to escalate his communication. Under most circumstances, I would have definitely not continued here, but because the tape was already half applied and was also flapping, I needed to commit and put it on fully. There are two things that I'm disappointed about with myself in this session. One is that I felt the need to apply 2 body tapes for symmetry, even though he was communicating nicely that the second tape was too much for him. I would have wanted myself to see the early signs and leave it at 1 tape. The second point is that I had this idea stuck in my head to end the session on a good note. At least I am doing it in a way that I am listening to him, such as only hovering my hands as his nervous system tells me that touch is too much. He's not getting angry or anything anymore, but he does twitch quite a bit. So again, preferably I would have ended the session here to give his nervous system time to reset. It is my big luck that he is so tolerant with me and that his nervous system managed to reset nonetheless. We are back to duration of firm touch because nothing is flapping, nothing is annoying. This is the safe space.
Good job.
It's the start button context that he knows, as we have established it before, where he only needs to shift his weight back in order for me to hear that he needs a break from the touch. It is important to note that this horse is not food anxious and that he left his herd and the abundance of grass in his pasture for this session and also chooses the low value chaff nugget treats over the sugary grass in the raceway that he is standing in. This moment where he turns around and looks at me is very important for me. The reason is that this is usually a food-seeking behavior of his when he runs out of treats and wants me to give some, and then he gets frustrated that I don't hand him the treats immediately. Or alternatively, as you have seen before in this video, this is his head motion before telling me off for not listening to his previous subtle communication. But this time his facial expression with the head turn was soft, without worry or frustration. He continues to be very relaxed, which made me feel like I could move on to a more sensitive area, which is the girth area. And again, even though he was doing so well, I think I should have long stopped this session. There is a very subtle moment of communication here where he steps back, tail swishes, and his ears move backwards a bit, and I finally listen and understand that I need to end the session here. I did put the jackpot reward on the ground, but that was after I ended the video.